My dear soul brothers and sisters, chosen by God, welcome to another divine teaching. There is a secret about your existence that old forces tried to hide from you, something that could not be said, something that should never have been discovered. But time has come, and now there is no way to deny the truth anymore. From the moment you gave your first sigh in this world, your name was inscribed in a plan that few can see, marked by something that neither the heavenly beings nor the dark entities can fully understand. You shouldn't be here, or at least it should not have remained. There was an order, an unchanging decree. Someone should silence you before they woke up to what it really is. A fallen angel, shaped by chaos and obedient to darkness, has been missioned to erase you from existence without hesitation. He had done it before, countless times, never failed. But when it came to your turn, something happened. For the first time in all eternity, its blade did not fall. Something inside him trembled, something that he can't even explain. He should have eliminated you the moment you found it. That was the order of darkness. But before you, your fragmented essence, your unchanging curse, and your soul, which never knew hesitation, failed. He doesn't understand why. He feels hate, anger at yourself, anger of this inexplicable weakness, because in all his existence dedicated to destruction, he never carried the weight of a decision he could not make. Now this mistake has become an open wound, an obsession that he cannot ignore. His name, chosen, should not mean anything to him, but it became a torment, and those who are touched by the obsession of a fallen angel never escape unharmed. Something inside him broke the moment his eyes met his, an error that he cannot accept. He tries to justify. He tries to convince himself that he has only lost the right moment, which was a passing distraction, an insignificant error. But the truth is, since that night, something inside it has written. His existence challenges him in a way he cannot understand, and every moment unanswered, he sinks more and more in silent madness. You feel, don't you feel, the weight of his presence around him, the feeling of being observed, something hidden in the cracks of the world around you. When you sleep, when you walk alone, when you get lost in your own thoughts, something accompanies you, even if you can't see it. It is not paranoia. It is not your imagination. He is there. He never left. A fallen angel should feel nothing. It should not hesitate. Its essence was forged in the abyss of the fall, where mercy is an illusion and the fate of the chosen ones is sealed without question. But that night, as you approach you, something inside it broke out. He realized when he lifted the blade that he was not facing a common soul. There was something different, something that transcended the barriers between mortals and the creatures of the heights and depths. Her heart beat like any other. His eyes carried the weight of existence like those of any human, but still, you emanated something, a presence that disarmed you. He felt his wrist through the veils of time, and for a single, terrible moment, the shadow of doubt crossed him like a sharp wind. And that moment, it was enough to break it. The blade remained suspended in the air, unable to complete the cycle that had repeated so many times before. Since then, something inside it began to rot slowly. He returned to the kingdoms of darkness without answers, but the answers began to pursue him. The voice of those who govern him echoed in his mind, cold as a final sentence. No one has ever failed, but he failed. He tried to stifle this error. He drowned in the massacre of other souls, trying to forget his momentary weakness. But the name that should have been erased continued to burn inside him. Your name, an invisible brand in your mind, a torment from which he cannot escape. All he knows is that he needs to go back. He needs to see you again. You need to understand what happened that night. You need to find out which curse or hidden power you carry that made you lose the only thing you should ever lose, your absolute obedience. Then he begins to follow him, at first from afar, a shadow in the corner of your gaze, a suffocating presence in places where you should be alone. You feel something is wrong, but you can't name what it is. The nightmares begin to invade their nights, dreams where a black silhouette hangs over you, but never touches it. The world around you begins to weigh more, as if walking through a field where an invisible war still echoes. And then he approaches. Perhaps it is a stranger who crosses his way and holds his gaze too long. Perhaps it is a whisper in the crowd that pronounces its name without anyone talking. Or maybe it's the sudden chill in the spine when there is no wind, the sharp cold in a hot day. He's getting closer. He needs to look into his eyes again. He tries to rationalize this obsession. He tells himself that he is just studying his prey. Who needs to understand failure before trying again? But somewhere inside him, a certainty grows, like a slow poison. He didn't fail because you were stronger. He didn't fail because he was careless. He failed because something inside him bent before you, because something inside him recognized his existence in a way that he cannot explain. He never knew what hesitation was, but now, hesitation is all that defines it. He no longer knows if he wants to kill him or if he wants to find the answer to the emptiness that consumes him. And that doubt haunts you because being a servant of chaos is having no doubt. To serve the darkness is to obey without question. But you did the unthinkable. You made him question. Now your obsession intensifies. He approaches. It crosses the invisible line between the predator and the shadow that never departs. He doesn't want to be seen, but you want you to feel it. He wants you to know that something is lurking, something that cannot be ignored. With each meeting, something burns deeper inside it, as a fire that should not exist. He should wish his destruction, but with each passing day, he wants to understand. And this is something he should never feel, because fallen angels do not seek answers. They do not seek truths, but you are breaking all the rules he knew. And now he is stuck in this cycle. He wonders, was it cursed for hesitating? Or was it blessed for finally seeing something that has been hidden for all eternity? The obsession grows, suffocating it as invisible currents. He cannot kill him, but it cannot abandon it either. The failure that haunts it has become an open wound, and the only way to cure it is to find out what you really are. The answer must be somewhere, hidden in its essence, hidden in your soul. He watches his steps, your words, your silences. He analyzes every detail, trying to find what makes him different from everyone else he has eliminated before. But the more he looks, less he understands. You should not have escaped, and yet, escaped. You should not be special. But there is something on you that challenges you in a way that he can't ignore. He tried everything to stifle this fissure inside him. He plunged into battles. He said countless souls, trying to forget the hesitation he felt by his side. But nothing silences the chaos inside it. His name echoes in his mind as an impossible sound to erase. He tries to be convinced that he is still the same, a merciless servant of ruin, an instrument of darkness. But the truth has already infiltrated him as a silent plague. He no longer knows who he is, feels something inside him has changed, and that enrages you. You are the source of this imbalance, and so he needs to continue. You are the only flaw in your perfect existence, and this failure needs to be understood. The persecution became an endless cycle, a game that neither one understands completely. You feel your presence approaching, but he never attacks, never complete what should have been inevitable. He appears in the corners of his vision, in the reflexes that disappear the moment you try to face them. He is testing you, waiting for something to happen, but he doesn't even know what he is looking for. What was once just a simple execution, now it has become a maze, a dilemma without solution. The mission that was once an absolute order, now it is a curse that keeps him stuck, unable to move forward, unable to return to what it was before. All that remains is this suffocating uncertainty, this abyss growing inside it, dragging him more and more to the ruin of something he can't even name. Maybe deep down, he already knows the truth. He fears, admit, the failure is not in you, it's in it. You did not cast a curse on it. It did not bewitch him, did not change your destination. What happened? It was much worse. You made him see. For the first time, he saw beyond the orders he always followed, without question, and he realized that his existence has always been a prison. You should have been just an obstacle, just a name to be erased. but it became the crack that destroyed everything that sustained his certainty. He should destroy him to recover his balance, but now he realizes that maybe he doesn't want to be saved from the chaos you have brought. If he cannot fulfill his mission, then what remains for him? Keep pretending to still belong to the darkness, or accept that it may never have been a servant, but a prisoner? Time has become an overwhelming weight. Each moment with no answers, the poison even more. He feels his invisible eyes of those who were once his allies, watching, waiting for the moment when they can get it from this indecision to force. He should hide, stay in the shadows, but something inside it wants to be seen. The laws that previously shaped him are breaking, and he realizes that he is no longer hunting. It is standing on the edge of a cliff. The moment of the last barrier is near, and the truth he tried to deny for so long, it is about to be revealed. When this happens, there will be no more return, and the only question left is, he will resist what comes next, or will finally surrender to the unknown. The obsession is no longer a dilemma. It is an inevitable weight on each of your footsteps. Resist. It no longer makes sense, because every attempt to fulfill the order that echoes within it, he failed before he even started. You are no longer just a name on a list. It is not just a target to be erased. You are a puzzle that he cannot decipher. Your presence, once an annoying anomaly, now it's an anchor. A crack that spreads inside it. He should hate him, should want to delete it from existence. But instead, each meeting only drags him deeper into this abyss of doubt and fascination. The certainty that before was unshakable, now it's dissolving. And the more he struggles to get rid of this torment, more attached to you he becomes. The threat of being hunted by those who once ruled their existence, now it's real. He feels the invisible eyes of his former allies turning against him. They see hesitation growing within their corrupted soul, and he knows those who fail do not receive mercy. If he does not fulfill the order given to him, he will become the next target. For there is no forgiveness for those who hesitate, but something inside it has already accepted that this can be the price to pay, because he no longer knows if he wants to go back to what he was before. The impenetrable darkness that once called home, it no longer looks like a refuge, and the more time passes without answers, more lost he feels. What was once a clear and absolute path now has shattered in 1,000 directions, and he realizes it is drifting, and you feel it, even without being able to name. The restlessness sets in the air around you. Something has changed. Something moves at the edges of your reality, and each shadow seems to hide a secret to the lurking. The signs, they are becoming impossible to ignore. The nightmares are intensifying. Distorted reflexes where before there was only the ordinary. Dissolved whispers in the wind, words that were never said. He is closer than ever, increasingly less concerned with the remaining hidden, as if an invisible force was dragging him into this inevitable encounter. You have never seen your face. He never heard his voice, but his instinct shouts that something is about to be revealed. And deep down, a part of you already know. This game is coming to an end. The persecution cannot last forever, and he feels that too. The pressure grows inside it, overwhelming, like a clock about to reach the last beat. He should attack him, should end what started, finally break free from the sentence that haunts it, but he knows he can't. All of his attempts to resume the destination thread that once guided him failed, and now he's stuck between what it was and what could be. You, who should have been just another victim, became his ruin. He doesn't know if this is a tragedy or a redemption, but one thing is certain. There is no return. What was once a hunt, now it has become a threshold that he can no longer ignore. And the moment the last barrier breaks, the truth will be inevitable. So, for the first time, he reveals himself. No more shadow in the darkness, no longer a faceless presence haunting its existence. He is there, and the air around it seems to bend under the weight of this moment. The reality shakes, as if everything is about to break. Everything he has been so far is reduced to this moment. You feel something dislocated in the air, a silence that does not belong to the world of mortals. An invisible weight condenses around you. He is there. There are no more barriers between you. There are no veils hiding what is about to happen. Now, the decision he has avoided from the beginning must be made. And that decision, it can change everything. The moment he feared so much, and so much desired, finally arrived. You are before him, and he feels the presence that so far was just a whisper between the shadows. Something inside you recognized the energy that emanates from it, as if the very fabric of reality twisted around it. He doesn't move, but inside him, everything shouts in conflict. The fury of the unfinished mission fight against the doubt that destroyed him from the moment he found you. The echoes of ancient obedience try to stifle this moment, force you to act to fulfill what was created to do. But he no longer belongs to the darkness. He no longer knows if that order can still be fulfilled. You should be afraid, but what grows inside you? It is something completely different. There's a silent recognition throbbing within your soul, as if a forgotten part of you understood what is really happening. You don't know how, but you realize that this meeting, it has always been inevitable. Revelation is built between you, without a single word having to be said. A collision of two destinations, intertwining at a point that neither expected. He looks at you, as if seeking an answer, as if trying to find a reason to unravel the final blow. But something prevents you. Something keeps you there, as if an invisible wire was pulling its existence closer to yours. The weight of the decision destroys it inside. He knows that if not acting now, you may never be able to fulfill your mission again. But at the same time, he knows that if he takes this step, you will be destroying the only truth you saw in countless ages. Killing it is the way to recover what you lost. So, why all inside it rejects this idea? The blade, which has already sealed so many destinations, don't move, do not obey, as if waiting for something. The silence, it becomes unbearable. He expected a fight. I expected you to run away. I hoped that you would forces you to choose the easiest way. But you, it doesn't do any of this. You just face it. And this simple act, disassemble it more than any blade could never. Time seems to distort around this moment. He remembers every step that brought him here. Each failed attempt to tear him out of his mind. Each time he tried to convince himself that this was just another mission. But it is not. Never has been. The destination has not brought you here by chance. And he begins to understand that, perhaps, this mission has never been about eliminating you. Maybe, from the beginning, she was about him, about what needed to be broken inside him so that he could see, in addition to the invisible arrest that kept him blind for so long. And if, at the end, not you who need to be destroyed, but yes, what did he always believe to be? This achievement reaches it as a blade drilling its essence. He feels the exact moment your identity is completely shattered, the precise instant that there is no return. No matter what happens now, he will never be the same again. Your choice, it has already been done, even if he hasn't spoken aloud yet. What he was before this moment, no more. But if its existence was shaped by chaos and destruction, so what will he be now? What happens? When does a fallen angel leave the darkness that has always defined him? He doesn't know the answer, but for the first time, do not fear discovering it. The air around you vibrates, as if the time itself held the breath. Time itself seems to hold his breath, waiting for the final decision. He still holds his blade, but now she's no longer a weapon. It is a weight. The same blade that has already brought destruction to countless souls now weighs as a sentence that can no longer be fulfilled. Its essence shattered, and everything that once kept him captive in the shadows, it was destroyed the moment it recognized the truth. The purpose that once guided him, now it's just a meaningless illusion, a current that can no longer hold it. He was never sent to kill him. It was sent to be transformed by you, so that he could finally see what was always denied to him. The universe itself worked to make this meeting happen, and now he understands. Fate never gave you another option. He never let him follow the path he knew, because deep down, he never really belonged to the darkness that shaped him. For so long, he believed he was a servant of ruin, a shadow at the service of destruction. But his hesitation was proof that something within him never accepted this lie. And now, before you, he finally finds himself as he really is, a fragmented being, torn from light and forced to walk between spectra, but never completely consumed by emptiness. You, just for existing. He made him remember what was always buried inside him, and now, those who govern him have already given the order to his elimination. The world that shaped him does not accept desertions. Do not forgive those who dare to question their purpose, but he doesn't care anymore. Never again, because now he finally understands what it means to be free. The invisible currents that kept him captive dissolve one by one, and everything that remains. It is the truth that he tried to deny. He never had a choice, until now. And you, the one who should be just a target, it became the key to free it. That's why it will no longer allow anyone to touch it. Those who once controlled him will not accept his decision, and he knows the persecution is just beginning. But this time, it is not you who should fear. This time, he will not be the hunter. He will be the protector. He broke the cycle, abandoned the mission. He turned his back on the shadows that once called him brother. But freedom has a price, and he is about to pay him. The chaos that once followed your orders, now you will turn against him, and everything he was forced to serve will try to complain about it once more. The approaching war will not be his only, but yours too, because those who wanted your death, now they want your soul. But there is something different now, something that never happened before. He is by your side. For the first time, he is not alone. For the first time, he does not fight for an order, but for a choice. And so, the hunter becomes the protector, the enemy becomes the ally, and the persecution that started as a sentence, now it has become a promise. He is no longer the fallen angel sent to destroy him. He is the one who will rise against the forces that shaped him. He who will face the shadows that once had him. He does not know what his destination will be. You don't know if it can be redeemed, or if your existence has been condemned for a long time. But if there is a single certainty, it will never allow someone to touch. What comes next is still uncertain, but there is something he already knows. No one will hunt him again, because now, he is the hunter. Transformation has always been inevitable. From the moment the fate put them face to face, the hunter became the protector. The mission has become redempted, and what was once a death sentence, now it has become the awakening of something bigger. But this story does not end here, because what was broken, now it must be rebuilt. And the shadows that once controlled it, they will not accept their betrayal without a fight. If there is a certainty, it's just that you were never just a target. You have always been a crucial piece, the lost link, the one who, once found, would change the balance of invisible forces forever. Now, a silent war is approaching, and whatever happens next, it will depend on the choices that will still be made. But remember, Chosen, this is not just a story, it is a mirror. How many times have you tried to break it? How many times has the darkness tried to extinguish its light, convince you that it wasn't strong enough to continue? But you are still here. You survived. It became exactly what fate always knew you would be. And maybe, just like this fallen angel, you have already doubted yourself. You have already felt the weight of carrying something you didn't understand. He has already been chased by something he could not name. But if there is something this story proves, is that no one can prevent the inevitable. What is destined to awaken, awakens. What is marked by eternity can never be erased. And you, Chosen, it is a flame that not even the abyss can consume. If this message resonated inside you, if each word made your spirit vibrate with something you always knew, but it could never explain, then it's time to act. May your journey be illuminated, and let you never lose the courage to follow your instincts. Until the next video, and may the peace of God always be with you.